Welcome back to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Just in case you are watching us for the first time, allow me to request you to hit that subscribe button and click the notification bell. To all our returning subscribers and those who support the channel, thank you very much for your unwavering support. So about the Finance Bill 2023. The government made good their threat and they passed this bill. 176 members of parliament whom you elected to take care of your interests voted in favor of this bill. 81% opposed. I have seen the Azimio fraternity threatening to go back to the streets. And this analysis is a double-edged sword. I will be telling you reasons why I believe that Raila Odinga must go back to the streets to help Kenyans. But I also have my reservations, because this time round, if people have to go to the streets, there must be a plan, agenda, and whether it is going to be accomplished. Going back to the streets for 2 days, then we let the government have their way, is something that we must not entertain, because the government will be used to Raila Odinga. We must not create a scenario where Raila is not taken seriously. We must not allow the government to think that Raila is only issuing empty threats. The reasons why I believe that people must go back to the street are given by experts, and I have only selected about 3 experts, and their explanations are so explicit that anyone in his sober condition will support that the only way to support this government right on its track is going back to the streets. I will show you the 2 videos that I have. But briefly, it is about Koome. Koome has been trending ever since we started the debate around Finance Bill 2023. And Koome is saying that currently the Kenya Bureau of Statistics has got a credible information or credible statistics that we have got over 14 million houses. And with these 14 million houses, Kenya has not realized the jobs that the Kenya Kwanza is talking about. Because the Kenya Kwanza team is saying that we will be building 250,000 houses in a year. And this will go down in creating jobs to our youths. Of course, this is after they abandoned the kazi mtaani and they think they can replace it. So Koome is saying, if over 14 million houses did not create any jobs, how then do we think that just 250 houses will create jobs? I don't want to explain further because much is going to be in the video. The second person is Robert Mbui, now the beloved member of parliament for Kadhiani constituency. This week he's become our hero. He said something that is so touching, because he explained that the government is planning to tax welfare. And he explained that when our women and young people form their own groups and they do table banking where they want to save 100 shillings per week, that money will be taxed. And he was wondering what has become of this government, because they promised to take care of the interest of the Mama Mboga and the youths. And then the third person that I checked his Twitter is Ahmed Nasir Mohammed, Grand Mullah, a very close ally of William Samoei Ruto. And he laments that from the ongoings within the government, we cannot be sure, we cannot trust this government with our money. That the over 7 billion shillings that will be collected every day will not be safe in the hands of this government, because they have manifested an appetite of dishonesty, an appetite of mismanagement, an appetite of mispriorities. And ladies and gentlemen, as I release these videos to you, it is on those three conditions that I believe that if we are serious, that we want the government to reconsider its stand, then we have to go back to the streets. Let us watch this, and after that, I will be telling you why I strongly believe that just going to the streets for the sake of it is more dangerous than just stopping. Better not to go than going for a mere formality. Kindly watch the videos.
Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, which does better data collection than some I've had people cite here. There are 14 million households in Kenya. If 14 million households have not created that burst in jobs that you have, why do these guys think that creating 250,000 in 1 year will create those jobs? You are lying to us.
We have had, I've mentioned, Kenya is not highly taxed because I think, I don't know, Tunisia, Morocco, they are taxed more. Their tax to GDP is higher. How do you compare Kenya with some of those countries? The average salary in Tunisia is 176,000 a month. Average salary in South Africa is 187,000 a month. Average salary in Morocco is 263,000 shillings a month. The average salary of a Kenyan is 22,000 shillings. How do you compare light and day? Mr. Speaker, let us talk the truth. Mr. Speaker, you know, when I listened to this team when they were speaking during the Kenya Kwanza team during the campaigns, they talked about raising the hustlers. In this finance bill, there is a proposal to tax welfare groups. Welfare groups are those chamas of our women when they put money together, Mr. Speaker, so that they can do table banking. 1,000 shillings each, they put it together, then it is taken by one. Now this team wants to tax that money, take money that these women have worked hard for, the hustler women of this country, the mamamboga, the boda boda. Can you people be fair to Kenyans? Members, let us stand up and oppose this bill, all of us. The voters are watching. The voters are watching. And I can tell you, those three people that you are respecting so much, when you lose the next election, they will not pick your cause. And by that time, even these positions of cabinet, I don't know, CASs, we will have fought them, we will have removed them. They will no longer be there.
Now, my second part of this analysis, like I said, this is a double-edged sword that will be looking at both sides. So let me just put it this way, that I'm looking at the other side of the coin. Raila Odinga came up with the narrative that a whistleblower gave him the correct result of the 2022 August elections. And he said that he won by 8 million against William Ruto's 5 million. To date, he has made us believe that William Ruto is a product of election malpractice. He never won. And anytime we look at William Ruto, we see an election thief at the helm of Kenyan presidency. And he took people to the street. He said he wanted to get back his victory. Kenyans were very ready. The Azimio followers were very ready. From the way they went out, the way they confronted the government, the way they confronted the police will show you the manifestation of courage and determination that Azimio supporters and Kenyans have. Up to date, I don't understand why Raila stopped those demonstrations. There have been explanations from street politics. Others say that he was threatened after Rigathi Gachagua charged some rogue policemen to fire 10 bullets in his vehicle, and then he decided he was not continuing with this. And another school of thought believes that he sat back to let Kenyans suffer, to understand why he was taking them to the streets, because others still did not understand why he was going to the streets. Because among other demands that he had given to the government is that he wanted the high cost of living to come down. He wanted the Cherera 4 to be reinstated. He wanted the government to stop recruitment of the panel that would interview the IEBC commissioners and very many things. But many Kenyans still did not understand why he was on the streets, because we were still playing party politics and tribal and ethnic politics. Rigathi Gachagua had told them that Raila was only hell-bent in making sure that the businesses in Nairobi closes. Up to this moment, I don't know which one of the two explains better why Raila stopped the demonstrations. But one thing I'm sure of is that when he stopped these demonstrations, he gave William Ruto time to reorganize himself. And the members of the Azimio who had the momentum, who are determined, the momentum has gone down. And for him to stop, it's only working for William Ruto. It's even funny that he stopped at a time when Kenyans are very ready. Because you've seen people going out there to oppose Ruto's erroneous appetite to tax them and to impose levies. And it is on this account, or it's on in light of this, that I'm saying that if we have to go back to the streets again, let us have an agenda. Not going back on the streets for just a week or two, then we stop. We would rather not go if we will not achieve what we want. Otherwise, the government will take us for granted. The government will not take us seriously. If people have to go to the streets, then let them be sure that they want to achieve something, and let them go for it to the last minute. Because I have had arguments of people dying on the streets. Before we go to confront the government, you know that the government will be hell-bent on killing people. So let us argue that before we get to the streets. Instead of getting to the streets, some 5 people die, then we say now we don't want to continue. Let us stop it if we cannot continue. The other reason why I feel that we should not go to the streets is because there are Kenyans who still don't understand why people are on the streets. Kenyans are suffering, yet they are still swallowing lies that they are suffering because Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta made them to be where they are. And if we still continue on this path, then there is no need of going to the streets. I've told you several times that Raila has nothing to lose in this. Raila can take his relatives to the best schools, the most prestigious schools in the world. He can afford the best medical attention if he's sick. And so they are doing this as the Azimio leadership for the sake of our nation, for the sake of the hustlers that were cheated and hoodwinked during the campaigns. Right now you've seen a plan to start harassing Mount Kenya youths under the guise that they are Mungiki. And who is standing for them? It is Raila and the Azimio fraternity, Wajakoya, Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, Mwangi wa Iria. The people whom they voted, the people who they woke up very early in the morning to go and vote, have now neglected them. They don't have jobs. Instead of giving them jobs, they are now being branded Mungiki just because they are now, looking for their rights. They will continue to tax, because when you saw the proposals to tax young people who are trying to build their content, and of course they listen to, they bow down to pressure, but it tells you that this government is not serious. So if Kenyans will not be serious, let them not take Raila Odinga to the streets, because Raila is fighting on behalf of Kenyans, and the Kenyans must also support him. They must wake up. They must go to the streets and give him the necessary support and fortress that he needs. Otherwise, going to the streets will be a mere formality. The passage of this bill is one that tells you that William Ruto does not have your interest at heart. And let me tell you something, he is playing to the interest of the international community, because some of these demands are as a result of the international community. So even as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, I know there is a lot of exuberance about going to the streets, but what are we going to go to do to the streets? The unions are ready, civil rights groups are ready, human rights defenders are ready, but are the hustlers very ready? Because I've seen them thronging the churches, and when Rigathi tells them that they're suffering because of the previous regime, they still clap. Until the day when Kenyans will realize that they are suffering, until the day when they will wake up and start an Unga revolution, we will still continue to suffer. And I urge Raila not to go to the streets when people are not ready. This going to the street must not be reduced to one community, because it is not only one community that suffer. Hunger does not select. It is not selective. It does not select a particular tribe. It doesn't select a particular political group. And this is why I'm telling you that Raila should plan and ensure that people are ready. In fact, I want to see a situation where people even decide to go to the streets of their own. They should not even wait for Raila. Let them throng the streets. Let them oppose and lament and tell the government that wamekataa. Because history has shown that when citizens are determined, the government cannot force them. But our problem is that we suffer, but we still go back to our ethnic cocoons and suffer on our own. And the government knows very well that divide and rule is the way to go. As long as we still allow the government to play the divide and rule, I can assure you that suffering will be our portion. Emancipation is in our hands. It is in the hands of the youths, the mamamboga, the boda boda, and the hustlers. This is the time to wake up. If it is not now, then I don't know when it is. And that is my take.